There are cities you visit, and there are cities that seduce you.
How dare you, Sevilla? You're literally stealing my heart.
This is Seville, the capital of the autonomous region of Andalusia in southern Spain. And if I can put it simply, this place is nothing short of spectacular.
What a really beautiful city Sevilla is.
I got the opportunity to visit recently, and let's just say I fell head over heels in love with this place. Because Seville, or the more resounding Sevilla, doesn't just show you her beauty, she makes you feel it.
I mean, I feel so sorry for those who haven't visited Sevilla yet.
This city, no matter how short or long your stay, is a sensory experience, fiery, poetic, and utterly alive. It's full-bodied Andalusia, all passion, beauty, and ravishment in one dramatic place. In this episode, I'll take you through one of my favorite cities in Spain, and also one of my favorite cities in entire Europe, from morning to night, through vast plazas, royal palaces, soaring cathedrals, hidden courtyards, and winding streets lined with so much history and beauty. And as the sun sets and the city turns electric, we'll taste Seville one plate at a time. Tapas, stories, and the Andalusian culinary culture like no other, giving us a taste of the Andalusian magic at work in this truly breathtaking city. So, whether you're dreaming of coming here or remembering the magic yourself, welcome to seductive, sumptuous, and sensuous Seville.
Son cositas de la vida que nadie puede explicar. De dónde viene la tierra y hasta qué hondo llega el mar. Tu cariño y tu cara.
We just came out first thing in the morning to enjoy the city while, it's slowly waking up. It's also really hot here in Sevilla. It's about 38 degrees to 39 degrees Celsius. So really wise to start early in the morning. Currently, it's not even 7:30 a.m. So we're trying to beat the heat, and that's the most sensible thing to do in Sevilla.
This was actually my first time in Seville, and one of the first things that struck me, apart from the heat, was how green it is. Seville is home to some of the most impressive parks I've seen in any city. Over 1,000 hectares of green space are woven into the city's fabric, offering sanctuaries of shade from the blazing sun. And since we're on the topic of greenery, here's a little trivia of the city.
Sevilla is also the city with the most orange trees in the whole world. They counted about 25,000 orange trees in the city. How incredible is that?
For those seeking the shade, there's a vast Parque de María Luisa, an expansive garden gifted to the city by Princess María Luisa of Bourbon in the 19th century. This became the central landscape for the 1929 Ibero-American Expo, where they built one of Seville's most iconic spaces, Plaza da España. And nothing prepared me for the grandeur of this place. I had seen photos before, but they don't do it justice. The sheer size of the plaza is astonishing, semicircular and monumental. It spans over 50,000 square meters, ringed by a vast canal and crossed by ornate bridges. It was designed by architect Aníbal González as the centerpiece of the 1929 exposition, with an architectural style that blends Moorish and Renaissance revival. It was a great idea to come here early in the morning, as there were only a few people, and it felt like we had the entire plaza to ourselves. Great standout were the 52 tiled alcoves, each representing a different province of Spain. These ceramic masterpieces are more than decorative. They're miniature storytelling panels with maps, crests, and historic scenes from each region. There's so much theatre and drama in this place, it's even cinematic. To no surprise, famous films such as Lawrence of Arabia and Star Wars: Attack of the Clones were filmed here. There was just so much beauty and craft in Plaza da España that it was just hard to leave this place. But from there, we continued to the historic heart of Seville, walking through storied streets and gorgeous avenues, enjoying this morning walk before the city gets too hot. Unless you'd want the scorching Andalusian summer to hit you square in the face, I highly recommend an early morning walk. Besides, the streets are less crowded, and the pure magic of Seville literally glows around you, and you can just soak in the city sights, sounds, and senses.
How dare you, Sevilla? You're literally stealing my heart. I am falling in love with this city. It's just so beautiful. We are now heading into the Real Alcázar. We bought our tickets really early, so hopefully there won't be much queue. I can't wait to see this place. I mean, this got to be one of the most beautiful palaces here. So, very excited. Sevilla is home to 3 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and one of them is this place, Real Alcázar.
This is also one of the oldest palaces in Europe still in use, and it's absolutely captivating. Originally a Moorish fort, construction began in the 10th century under the Muslim rule of the Abbasid and then to the Almohad dynasty. But much of what we see today was commissioned by King Pedro I of Castile in the 14th century, adding in the sumptuous Palacio de Don Pedro in the Mudéjar style, a uniquely Andalusian blend of Islamic and Christian artistic traditions. That fusion is everywhere in the Alcázar. Intricately carved plaster walls, pattern tiles in infinite geometries, and stunning Arabic and Andalusian art existing in harmony. At the heart of this palace is a sublime Patio de las Doncellas, or Courtyard of the Maidens, surrounded by beautiful arches, plasterwork and tiling. The sunken garden in the center was uncovered by archaeologists in 2004 from beneath a 16th century marble covering. Then we walk through room after room, each more extraordinary than the last. We walk through the Hall of Tapestries, filled with enormous woven narratives of empire and conquest, and the vast gardens beyond, another whole world of beauty to be explored. Truth be told, if you think the palace is beautiful, wait till you see and experience the gardens. This whole place is legendary. You'll recognize most of it as these green sanctuaries were recently featured in Game of Thrones series as the Water Gardens of Dawn of House Martell, adding another layer of mythical glamour to this place. It's a stunning, stunning place, and both Patrick and I were simply in awe of the majesty of Alcázar. In fact, most of the time we were just speechless as we wandered around here. There's a whole collection of different gardens and orchards as it's very easy to get lost in here. One could easily spend a whole afternoon just exploring the gardens alone. It's also worth noting upon your visit that this is a living, breathing garden and park, adding a sensual richness to the Sevillian gem. After being transported by centuries of history and beauty, we crossed over to yet another architectural wonder, the Seville Cathedral. Built over a former mosque, it is a bold Gothic statement. It's the largest Gothic cathedral in the world and a powerful symbol of Christian reconquest. This is one of UNESCO World Heritage Sites here in Sevilla, and also significant due to the fact that Christopher Columbus, or at least part of himself, is buried here. There's no denying the stunning vision of this place, but something else draws the eye upwards. Attached to the cathedral is the Giralda, the former minaret turned bell tower. We went to climb its 35 gentle ramps, unique for any tower instead of steps, apparently built so horses could descend. But seeing the narrow passageway, I doubt horses could fit. Nonetheless, once we reached the top, the Giralda gave nothing less than dazzling panoramic views of Sevilla, the extraordinary details of the cathedral roof that all made the effort worth every step. From a distance, we could even see Plaza da España and our Azamara cruise ship docked. Once you're back down in the ground, don't forget to check out the Patio de los Naranjos, or the Orange Tree Courtyard, with a large stone fountain basin that dates all the way back to the Visigothic period. Further on, we walked and walked through beautiful Seville, past avenues and squares, through covered streets, past really charming 19th century shops and cafes, and then arrived at one of Sevilla's most visited landmarks.
We are now in one of the most fascinating spots in Sevilla. It's called Las Setas, or the mushrooms, and this project won an architectural prize made to rehabilitate this area of Seville. This is definitely one of the best panoramic views in Sevilla. Do not miss this.
From a distance, it does look a giant oyster mushroom clouding this area, but this installation serves a purpose. Also called the Metropole Parasol, designed by German architect Jürgen Mayer, it's built primarily from timber wood and concrete columns. The surreal sculptural work provides a great shade to the large plaza of La Encarnación. Its modern boldness contrasts sharply with the centuries-old architecture around it, making Seville even more fascinating. The constant conversation between the old and the new. We climbed on top, where you can walk along well-built footpaths, winding around the top of this mushroom cloud. And honestly, it has incredible panoramas over the city. Actually, perhaps the best we've seen, aside from the Giralda Tower. And down below, it protects archaeological ruins from Moorish and Roman times. And I've been told, at night, Las Setas glows with this gorgeous light display. The last place we visited was Torre del Oro, the Tower of Gold, an ancient dodecagonal military tower that once guarded the Guadalquivir River. It stood as a reminder of Seville's once magnificent role during centuries that shaped the world, a fitting image of a city that dazzled me at every turn. Here's a little tip. If you're visiting during the summer months, between July and August, when Seville is at its hottest, try and avoid outdoor activities during the hottest part of the day. Go for a long, easy lunch and sip some cocktails, ideally somewhere with a great shade. Or visit museums if you want. Just remember, you have to take care of yourself with the heat. Or, for those who are on a stopover during your cruise, I highly recommend going back to your cruise ship. Take that afternoon easy, stay cool, dip in the pool, and just have a really relaxing afternoon away from the sun. And when it's slightly cooler, later in the afternoon around 5 p.m, we headed to the city centre to go for a leisurely tapas tour for a taste of Sevilla. And our meeting point was at Plaza de Salvador in the quarter of Alfalfa, with this wonderful square with the Baroque church Iglesia Colegial del Divino Salvador. While we waited for our guide, we had beers to help douse the heat at La Antigua Bodeguita and soaked in the atmosphere of this lively social spot. Pretty soon, we met our guide for the evening, Jeff Trench, who traded Oregon for Sevilla, who's been living in the city for the last 8 years and a total of 14 years around Spain. He went to culinary school here and travelled far and wide around the country to gain a profound understanding of the different regional traditions and flavours. Now, he's a storyteller of taste, a guide to our culinary pilgrimage here in Seville. Patrick had found him, and what a find he was. His passion for Andalusian cuisine shines through, giving us a great context of the food culture here, where tapas reigns supreme. Our first stop was Bodega Los Soportales, tucked under the arches of this buzzing plaza. Patrick resumed with a glass of cold Cruzcampo beer, and both Dave and I had Tinto de Verano con limón, lighter than sangria and totally refreshing in its heat. We had altramuses, or lupin beans. Then came chicharrón de Cádiz, thin slices of rich, melt-in-your-mouth Iberian pork belly, followed by montadito de pringa, a sandwich bite of slow-cooked meats mashed into deliciousness. I say a perfect opening act, taking us directly to the heart of the traditional Andalusian flavours.
While we're walking around the city, I cannot help but notice what a really beautiful city Sevilla is. I mean, I can't help looking at everything around here. Looking at every direction, there's so much beauty in the city. It's amazing.
We then wandered through the beating heart of Seville, past the monumental Seville Cathedral, and we entered the delicious chaos of Calle Mateos Gago, a beautifully lively street crammed with tapas institutions and places to eat. Next stop is Taberna Perejil, the birthplace of Seville's famous Vino de Naranja, the sweet and aromatic orange wine, like the scent of spring in the city's courtyards and a little taste of orange heaven. Here we tasted caracoles, tiny snails simmered in broth with spices. I haven't had snails for years, and after tasting it again, I love it, especially this Andalusian version. Then we had muhama, cured tuna, the ham of the sea, finding it intense and salty. The hearty espinacas con garbanzos, spinach with chickpeas, paid homage to Seville's Moorish roots, while the buñuelos de wakame, ortiguillas y camarones brought in the sea with light garlicky fritters of seaweed, baby shrimp, and sea anemone. I love this dish, a salty sea pairing with a sweet orange wine. We walked further on, along the vibrant streets, with Jeff giving us more historical context of this place, showing the Roman columns that have been here since the dawn of Roman time. And soon stopped at Ajo y Agua, tucked at Calle Boteros. Here we sipped on the chilled Manzanilla Jerez, or sherry in Spanish, dry and delicate, made from the Palomino Fino grape with a whisper of salinity from the nearby coast. To pair with, we had queso payoyo, a goat cheese from Cádiz. Then smoked sardine atop tomato marmalade, smoky, silky, and sweet. A bite of chorizo with caramelized onion and chipotle mayo, a really delicious sandwich. Next door, we made a quick stop at Bar Galloki, and we've seen nothing like it. like a surreal fever dream of religious ecstasy wrapped in velvet and holy devotion. A place where you can have a profane cocktail or two. We couldn't believe our eyes, and this felt like an Almodovarian spot. Cinematic in its own way and unapologetically Andalusian. I expected a priest to show up and mix some heavenly cocktails for us. Despite being a quick and unexpected stop, I felt like witnessing something truly uniquely theatrical. Our last stop was Sal Medina in the Alfalfa neighborhood with all its hip, local and laid-back atmosphere. We started with ensaladilla de gambas, Seville's beloved version of Russian salad, creamy with prawns and a nod to 19th century culinary cross-pollination. Then cecina de bonito, tuna cured in-house with a texture like fine jamon. And finally, corvina alla donostiara, a croaker fish fillet with garlic, chili and olive oil sizzling on top. We toasted with a crisp dry white, again from the Palomino Fino grape, and this Sal Medina fish restaurant was a fitting finale. In Sevilla, tapas aren't just about food, it's about savoring life, one small plate at a time. And Jeff walked us through Seville's gastronomy and took us through a journey through Andalusian ingredients and traditions and helped understand the rhythms of Seville's everyday life, where food and tapas are vital to social functions, customs, and the soul of his city. We bid goodbye to Jeff, thanked him for a wonderful private food tour as we ambled back to our ship with happy stomachs and happy souls, satisfied with a really worthy evening full of culinary delights. Seville really swept us into its rhythm. This place gave us grandeur at every turn and offered us amazing food, one plate at a time. I feel like Seville isn't just about monuments and sights. Its deep sense of place also comes from its flavors and sounds, a kind of buzzing life that permeates in every corner and a richness of culture that most cities could only dream of.
I'm just really grateful that I'm able to visit Sevilla. I mean, I feel so sorry for those who haven't visited Sevilla yet. It's literally in my top most beautiful cities I've ever visited. It's really, really beautiful, and I think they've done such a great job in the city to preserve it, at the same time modernize it in the most balanced way possible.
This is my first time in Andalusia, and I'm so glad I went directly to the heart of it. It's Aorta, the beating, rhythmic and beautifully resounding Sevilla. A city that doesn't really try to impress, but rather invites you to feel, to taste, to linger. Because cities like this, they stay with you long after the journey ends. I know deep in my bones that I will be back in the city to experience another perspective of Seville on another glorious Andalusian day. Watch my full Azamara cruise experience now streaming on my YouTube channel as we cruise on the Azamara onward from the Atlantic to the Mediterranean Sea, sailing from Lisbon to Barcelona, with stops in Seville, Ceuta and Malaga on the way. If you love the look and feel of this Azamara cruise so far, imagine experiencing this for real next year. You can join the same cruise journey, but longer and even more immersive, next June 2026 on an unforgettable voyage from Barcelona to Bordeaux aboard the Azamara Quest for 14 nights. It's more than just a cruise, it's a deep dive into the soul of the Iberian Peninsula, exploring Spain, Portugal and a little bit of northern France. Email me at jans@inthemoodforlife.com or scan the QR code or visit azamaracruise2026.inthemoodforlife.com. Only 30 cabins are available, so limited spots only. Hurry, Iberia is calling.